Alright, looks like we got the peeps in here. Alrighty. I don't know why, it feels like a little bit since we've casted a match. Especially a ones match, that's for sure. But welcome in everyone to this Royalty Series North American Prodigy 1v1 match. And these players have reached week number 5. With Emerson in blue, Kyle in orange. And Kyle might have scored the first goal off a mistake, but so far Kyle has been showing good control and threatens that one. So Kyle up by 1. But certainly can't sleep on Emerson, as once he gets momentum, a lot of things could happen. And flip not happening yet. Kyle, a quick rip-on shot on target. And Kyle's up by 2. What a shot. And Kyle's rolling. Gonna try to continue this momentum. Does get the 50. Does he get it by Emerson? What a play. Kyle had to jump around Emerson, but just the start he wants. As we all know with ones, a lot of time, a lot of chance for goals in a short amount of time. Emerson taken to the air where he wants to be, almost gets another touch, but Kyle has the resolve, has the patience, but gets a flip of his own, and that could be a response, but Kyle is there just in time. Thought that would be an easy counter for him, and Kyle, just a last second touch, get it around. And what Kyle is doing very well is sticking with the ball. That's going to prove a problem. Not going to let Emerson have time to do what he wants. But plenty of space, plenty of time. Kyle threatening, but that's actually in. I thought that hit the wall, maybe even the crossbar. But favorable bounce for Emerson. Now he can shake it off. Has that first goal, and now only looks to add more. And hoping for an awkward bounce to catch Kyle slipping. Kyle almost peeking out here, but good defense from Emerson, and gonna capitalize. And that is the tough thing about ones. So close to coming into a clip. So close to putting a heck of a shot on. But can't quite finish it. That means you might just be getting scored on. And big rip downfield, and we are at halftime, and Emerson's coming roaring back. And that is just insane. You have 4-goal lead, and seeing it dwindle that quickly. There's Kyle jumping the gun on that one. Emerson, surprised he has this much time and space. Gonna have to rush back. And gets beat out, maybe? But somehow gets that boost. And can still stay with it. A lot of space and waiting for that challenge to come through. It does. Kyle, the aggressor, trying to catch Emerson awkward, but in his own right, has to make sure he doesn't overcommit. Emerson keeping that boost. He might have a chance, but Kyle knows there's only one play there. Kyle again, faced with that wall, can't put a shot on. And Emerson wants to cut it. Kyle not going to let it happen, but has to retreat. Emerson has full boost. But does he have the flip? He gets it around. Too wide. Kyle has to go quick with this. Emerson backs off. We got 1 minute remaining. Kyle wants that extra security goal. He's been fighting. Tactical fake might put him in jeopardy, but gets back in time. Kyle smartly staying with it, using the time to his advantage, but that's not going to be on target. Emerson still has a chance to tie this. And bump action. Kyle just gets it. And third time's a charm. This time from the right side. As Kyle does finally put it through. And only 20 seconds left. M trying to score quickly. And does so. You can't sleep on him. Plenty of time for a ones match. This kickoff is pivotal. And that's favorable. Emerson. Light tap, and that's enough, and ties it up. And that is ones for you. Any other mode, you might be dead in the water. And tough for Kyle to do anything with this one. Emerson trying to keep it going. But OT, big kickoff. Kyle has a favorable one. Can take possession. Putting it on top of his car. Can't get the flick. Now Emerson gonna try and race back on the other side and put it through, and he does. And what a turn of events. And you gotta wonder what Kyle's thinking here. Kyle had that one pretty secured up until the end. But has to continue going. Hold his head high. Knows he can contend. He played a very solid game throughout. Staying close with it. Making the right plays. But of course, comes down to a few mistakes. You get penalized so heavily in ones. And Kyle wanted to turn it the other way. But Emerson slightly gonna give it up there. Gonna add some bumping. And Kyle, you know he can do it. He does it again. We saw that game one. That quick rip on target from the side. And another solid start for Kyle. And what a play from Emerson. It's given a lot of time. Using it at the very end. Too much space. Kyle not able to recover. And Emerson almost gets a kickoff goal. Heck of an effort from Kyle. And Emerson fake challenging. Almost left him in a rough spot. That shot is not going to be threatening. And Kyle, did he push too much? He's there back in time. But low boost, just making a little inch here and there, but not penalized so far. Does get that boost and almost gets it on target. That's a smart play right there. But another nice touch from Kyle and extends his lead by 2. But that previous play, Kyle had it lined up if Emerson did go for mid boost. But Emerson just got a piece, but Kyle had another touch in mind. And he's got all the right touches. Emerson struggling a little bit. Can't get that demo. Might have been open there. Does get the demo here, but has to go back to collect. And Emerson wondered if the bump would come through. Kyle, flick. Emerson with the touch. And Emerson in a limited spot right there. Low boost. Trying for a fake. We're almost at 2 minutes. What a challenge from Kyle. But it bounces all the way back to mid. And you could see the mind games from both. Just seeing how far they can move up. What reactions. Little shadow defense. And Emerson, a little risky there. Can Kyle put this away? Does not go for the shot. Instead, comes back. And tries catch Emerson 2 forward, but Emerson gets a boost. He can do damage here. Quick flick. That's off, but Kyle putting it to the side. And just gonna take time with this. Rip one on. And that's the smart, safe play. But yeah, leave it for a little bit. See if your opponent attacks. Exactly what he did. Gave him the space. Then you make him pay. Up by 3. Kyle in a good spot. And certainly wants to play smart here. We know what happened last game. And Emerson goes to the air. Exactly where he wants to be, but great defense from Kyle. And put it on target. And again, Kyle proves to have those shots from the side. Pinpoint. Does them very well. And so if you're Kyle, say you could be up by 2. But let game 1 get away. But ultimately has proved dominant in game number 2, limiting M to only 1 goal. That's great defense from Kyle. And quite the bounce back as well. So Kyle playing very well. And we still feel like we have yet to see Emerson put it all together. Struggling a little bit against Kyle. However, we're tied 1 apiece. So, big game 3 coming up. And what a beat from Kyle. Yet again, scores first. Gonna keep it going. And narrowly winning out. So, kickoff. Kyle just gonna test. But now Emerson taking offensive possession. And can't get that one through. And see, the tough part there, you can see Emerson not in full form. Can't put it on his car. And that limits your ability. Once it fell off, easy challenge for Kyle. Emerson deleted there. Now Kyle jumped the gun and missed opportunity. Or wait, he's still on it. Somehow, some way. And things going right for Kyle. Even when they're not. And Kyle perhaps getting a little too comfortable out here. Trying for some flipper set. But definitely feeling it right now. And gets a demo as well. And Kyle knows he's got the advantage. Gotta wonder, mental Emerson is in a rough spot, but has to collect himself. And this time Kyle learned he's not going to jump the gun. Waits and is up by 4. And powerful flick. Emerson trying for it all. And can't quite get it there. So you gotta say, what can Emerson do? I think it's gotta go back to basics. Simple. Get the ground game working. Obviously struggled a little bit there, but for once that's going to be your bread and butter. Limited mistakes coming out from that. And it's Kyle still with this. Emerson has a chance, rips it, and it's too far. And quick shot, it actually is in. Emma's kind of just picking up the pace, trying to win out that way. But what a kickoff. Kyle gets it right back. Kyle's been doing good on those kickoffs. And that is exactly what we're talking about. The ground game. Kyle puts it nicely on his car. Simple flick. And hard to defend. And Emerson almost has that lined up. Kyle just there. And bye. Emerson finally gets it by Kyle, but too much. That seems to be the case. A gift given. A quick rush. Hits off the sidewall. You know you're going to get penalized with that one. Popping high. Emerson almost gets it over. Plenty of time for Emerson. Now going for the flicks. That's just out and finishes it off. And there you go, having some flicks in the repertoire. That is a tough word to say. You try to say it 3 times fast. There. Gotta respect Emerson trying again, but Kyle can just challenge that one. And then at the mid, Emerson fighting back and hold the phone. Only down by 2 with 1 minute remaining. But those kickoffs are brutal. Kyle has them on lock. I'm just gonna go forward. That should be easily challenged. Kyle avoiding Emerson. But still in control of the boost. Uh-oh, there's a mistake. Emerson trying to capitalize, but what defense from Kyle is still there. And Emerson, just a little pre-jump there. But a big game for Kyle, who's going to go up 2-1 in the series. Match point. And again, Kyle's been playing very well. We're almost readied up. Alright, Utopia Coliseum Dusk. Next up, Game 4. And here we go. Emerson can't afford a loss, but Kyle strikes again, and it's on a kickoff. That is tough. What do you do to win kickoffs? You can't ask me, because I can't tell you. That is purely my weakness. But it's good to see Emerson continuing with that ground game. The flicks. High chance of reward, low risk. Emerson. Flip, but going back. Kyle. And a chance to take possession. And of course, Emerson has to do one of those a game. But not mad at that one, as Emerson does gain the lead. And it's quite early for Emerson to take the lead. Hasn't had the lead much in this series. And looks like a newfound fire. But Kyle not given any space, and rightfully so. Knows what M can do. But 50, Kyle there, back in time. Emerson steals that boost. But can he recover? Somehow, some way. It looked so awkward. Kyle gonna gain possession. That's on the ground, easily taken care of. And Emerson gets there. Finishes it off in time. But, yeah, tough spot for Kyle. Once that ball fell to the ground, that was going to be easily challenged. And Emerson almost caught going wide. Going to use a lot of boost here. And that flip, Kyle only has to wait. And somewhat respect Emerson for going for it, but you know, you use a lot of boost in the process. It's a little bit easier to defend, especially coming from almost the full court. But good flick there. As Kyle gets enough of it to bounce it out. And Emerson, mind game, what a 50. That's the importance of staying behind it. And Kyle wants to rip it, but that's going to the other side into a possession. And Kyle's there. And Emerson actually still on that. I don't know if Kyle was surprised, but I certainly was. But too much. And that's the other part of playing simple. Those power shots. High reward, low risk. As Kyle catches them in an awkward spot. And Emerson smartly has to stay close. You know what Kyle can do. He can rip it from the side. And not going to go in, but now we have both players who've done it. Kyle challenging. And awkward touch. Now he has to go back. Emerson wins that out. And Kyle almost gets in the way, but Emerson able to gain a 2-goal lead. Emerson with the own goal? Kind of. That's a risky maneuver. Keeping it in front of net. And only a 1-goal difference. Emerson playing risky again, and Kyle gonna make him pay. And we are tied up 5-5. And flip. Not going to have enough height. Kyle waiting for the flick, but it drops down. Might have had a chance there if he kept it. Emerson was low on boost, retreating. And ripped too hard. Kyle going to try to bring it back, try again. And 20 seconds left. He's actually in a good spot. Trying for the bump. And Emerson in front of net. Has to use some mechanical skills to get it out. But Kyle playing it close. Trying to bait out a mistake. And OT. Kyle can win this with one goal. To win the series, Emerson trying to bring it to game 5. Kyle not going to be given the time. And Emerson trying to squeeze one by. Emerson actually given a lot of space here. Kyle, initial touch. Kyle can take possession. He gives it up though, and that means Emerson coming through. Almost on target. Emerson just baiting. That's going to be in front of net. Looks to go the full distance. Gets it by, but again, a little bit wide. And Kyle still in a good spot there. Not much room for M to go. Trying the full distance. What can he do? Can't get a handle on that. Kyle, patient. And rips it. Is that on target? It is not. Kyle missed an opportunity there. But flicks again and a little bit wide. And now Emerson, too high of a flick. Can someone score? Uh-oh, Emerson gives that up. And oh my god, I thought if that was just on, that would have been kind of sad. Anticlimactic ending, but that certainly is not. Emerson bringing it to game 5. And holy smokes, there were some missed opportunities. But what a cluster of a game right there. Alright, if there's one thing we have to remember to do, it's go to Champions Field. Alright, both players are ready. Game 5. Now it comes down to one, and Emerson has got the luck, got the kickoff, and finally scores first in a game. And that could bode very well for Emerson, who plays better in the lead. But most players do. Emerson, another touch and gets it through. And very dangerous for Kyle as Emerson starting to put momentum together. Slow to start the series, but has increased. But important to see how Kyle plays here, and that's tough. Emerson has everything rolling. And, you know, Kyle wants to play that close game. Keep it close. Use the pressure against them. But tough to do when you're down by 3. What a quick shot, and Kyle's still going to use what got him here. Tried and true method, which is perfect for once. And does get the first goal for himself. And has a chance for a second one, but can't get it by. And now Emerson, quick on the other side. But he actually puts that in. Somehow, some way. It looked so awkward. Popped it high. But just pure pressure winning out. And flip. Going nowhere. And Kyle off the top. Almost puts it through. Emerson might have centered it. Kyle wants that demo. But closing in to 3 minutes. And Emerson up by 3. And an extra touch, Kyle within 2. And had good setup there. Wondering if he would go for the flip. Did go for an extra touch. That's probably what caught M to challenge the flip reset threat. No. Awkward touch. And Kyle just waiting to react. Smart, patient. Unfortunately, not much opportunity with him continuing to be on the ball. And can he recover? That's off. Kyle trying to turn it into a counter. Right now you can see Emerson just annoyingly on the ball constantly, but Kyle finally gets it by. A little extra oomph on that one. Kyle within 1. And Kyle gonna win it out. And certainly that's gotta be at his mind. He knows Emerson gonna be all over the ball. Use that to your advantage. Oh no, tactical fake, but it actually works. And they have rushed that, but Kyle shoots it low. That's easily saved. And he's able to get back. And we're coming down to the wire. 4-4. You know this next goal is very huge. And risking it. Oh no, what a 50 Kyle is there and staying behind it. Seems like M was trying to challenge at different angles. But now down by 1. 24 seconds. Needs a kickoff. High bounce, Kyle. Does he go for it? Kyle could end this, and that's not on target. Emerson still has a chance. 10 seconds left. Flick. And we are tied. Are you kidding me? And we might be going to OT. Game 5. And it's crazy. Kyle almost won it. Just a little bit wide. Kyle going for it. That's a little bit wide. Much to M's happiness. And a quick challenge. He can't end this. That is on target. Emerson seals it. And that is tough. Kyle had some chances in a few of these. But Emerson prevails. And I'm not quick enough to write a heart, but much love to Kyle. Thank you. Also, thanks to M. So, thank you both for allowing me to cast. And that is your Royalty Series 1v1 match of week number 5. Don't forget to report the match, but yeah, for anybody who tuned in, much appreciated. Thank you. That was a very good ones match. Went down to the wire.